This is number 4 from the second assignment, Begin Perl, and we're talking about modifying a PL file to a CGI so that it will run from the web. In this class, most assignments will be made to run both on the shell and from the web. Therefore, the PL versions, as originally written to run on the shell, will be converted to a CGI file so they can be run to made on a browser. There are two main parts to modify for a PL file to work on the web, and the first one is inputting values from the keyboard. The straightforward method standard in that we can use on the shell will not work on the web, so that will be a major modification. The second one is outputting to a browser, and anytime we use on the shell a /n, that will not work on the web automatically. We'll have to do a small conversion for this one. So there's only two things to change to modify these PL programs to CGI. It's a little tricky, but it's not that bad. Once you've done it a few times, it will come very naturally. Be sure to take a very close look at all the green directions. These demonstrate exactly what you have to do to convert a file to the other. In the meantime, we're going to enter this PL file, a simple PL file here on the shell, and we're going to talk about those few new commands, and then we'll go ahead and convert it to a CGI file. I'm going to copy this and go on the shell. Now I'm going to use VI to do a copy and paste, because copying and paste to Pico, since I've told some of you to use Pico, copy and paste from the shell to Pico does not work well, because there are special characters that will make it non-compilable on the shell. So, but VI works just fine. So I'm going to use I for insert, and I'm going to paste, which is a right click for window users. And now I'm just going to get out, escape, and shift ZZ, which is the nicest way to exit and save from VI. I'm going to reopen this in Pico. So here we go. We have the shebang line, the print statement. Note that we have parentheses in here. It is recommended to use parentheses in the print function, though it's not necessary on the shell on the Linux. But some versions of Perl actually require the parentheses. So just get used to typing parentheses around a print statement. So we say enter a number, space, and we have no /n in order to have an input on the same line. The second line here is called an assignment, and an assignment is a typical way of saving a value in memory. On the left side is a memory location which we create by giving it a name, such as first or second. And in Perl, we use a $ in front of and this is called a variable. We use a $ in front of the variable name, and that makes that variable a scalar variable. A scalar variable means that you can put one type of information into it. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be a number, a boolean, it can be text. It can even be an entire book, a 500 pages book, into that one variable. And you can even change. You can have a number once, and then you can turn around and put text. It does not matter. Perl is very flexible that way. And we don't even have to pre-declare it, you notice. We just create it for the first time right here, and we're going to put something into it. We use an equal sign, which is the operator for the assignment. And on the right side of that equal sign, we're going to use, in this case, a standard in capital letters, folks, STDIN. And also, we may not use spaces. So that brings us to the point that be careful. In the assignment, it will be very frequent that there's a space in these types of commands. Anything that uses braces or brackets, uh, the browser will think that that is an HTML command and will eat it, meaning we won't see it. It will try to execute it as an HTML command. So just for sake of simplicity for myself, I use spaces so we can actually display that command. But be careful. Whenever you copy and paste from the assignments in this class, you will have to make sure, especially if it's anything to do with HTML or this or standard in, you have to make sure to delete the spaces around the brackets. Understand? Okay, so on the right side we have this command and it says reading input from standard in keyboard. And again, I have the warnings about spaces. These are comments, by the way, in Perl. The pound sign is a command for is a comment for one line and one line only. So we say take input at the keyboard to type anything you want and press enter. As soon as the enter key is pressed, that information is moved into a memory location which has been defined by this name, and you can use it from now on to also access the information in this memory location. Second, interesting command here, chomp. It's a function which is a small program, and we'll learn how to do these functions, but for now, chomp is a Perl function, a Perl program, to help us get rid of return characters at the end of any value. In this case, Perl, since Perl has no magic, it actually preserves the return character when we press enter after we're done inputting the number at the keyboard. So that number will remain as part of the data. And a lot of the times you don't need the return, therefore you can use the chomp, put the variable name on the right, and that will strip any return characters that may be at the end. If there aren't any, it will just leave it alone. If there's 2 or 3, it will take all of those out. Next, we print we're going to do the same thing with the second number, and we chomp the second number, and here we are in the print statement, again parentheses. Now this one, you notice, is a little more complicated than before. We have what we call 3 arguments. Here's the first argument because this is a string. Then we have a comma, and the comma separates one argument from the other. And the reason for this is that we want to separate data types. Okay, this is a string, and this will be a value. This is actually an addition from one variable to another, and that will come back as a result of this addition, therefore a number. That's the second argument. And the third argument after the second comma is another string where we want to issue a return character. Another thing to notice is that inside of the string, which is in this case double quote, we can use the name of variables, and Perl will render the content of these variables. It will actually give us the content of this memory cell, and it will not print $sign first. It will print 4 or 55, whatever we typed in, and same thing. So this is a nice feature of Perl. We don't have to worry about we can use values inside of strings. Now, one more note here: it only works with a double quote. If we use a single quote, then we would actually see the sum of $sign first and $signs and so forth. So single quote, no rendering of variables inside the string. Double quotes, it will render the value of the variables within. Okay, folks, this is it. I'm going to Control X, run it. Well, first let's go ahead and see chmod it 711, and then run it, and enter a number 4, enter a second number 5, and everything works well. Okay, this list long, and we see addition as the execute, and we're all set to go. So always run your PL, debug it, make sure it runs on the shelf first. Okay, in the next section we're going to modify convert this PL file into a CGI. Thank you very much.